Welcome everyone to the Heaven on Earth Prayer Collective. My name is Kaia Ra, and I'm the author of the Sophia Code and the ordained oracle for an Ascended Master High Council called the Sophia Dragon Tribe. I'm so happy that I get to be with each and every one of you this evening or this morning, wherever you are listening live in the world or listening to the replay. I want to thank each and every one of our members of the Heaven on Earth Prayer Collective. Some of you for your monthly participation in this free ministerial offering that is supported by the Sophia Code Foundation. Some of you have been praying with us for close to 6 years, maybe even longer, depending on how long we've known each other on this path that I've been on with the Sophia Dragon Tribe. And I just want to say how much your presence and your heart and your heroic journey means to me and means to everyone here on this call. We're living in extraordinary times, and it's important for us to remember, especially during this time of COVID, where there's still mandatory lockdown measures happening worldwide, that you are still connected to your international community of light workers. I know for many of us, we love to gather at spiritual centers or churches for our form of community connection and friendship and even entertainment, conscious entertainment. And these times have really caused us to go so far within ourselves to really evaluate the uncomfortability of these times, and also the opportunity of that deep examination of our consciousness that can only really happen when we sit still long enough to look within, to look at those places that perhaps are easy to ignore or set aside till a later date, when there is so much to entertain us in our culture prior to COVID. So although this time has caused a great deal of distress, grief, anger, economic hardship, it's also brought unexpected and unforeseen blessings. And it's in my heart to continue, that my prayer is that the Heaven on Earth Prayer Collective will continue to be a resource for you, for your loved ones, for your community, so that you can feel the presence of Sophia God guiding us beyond the mayhem and chaos of this world, beyond the evolutionary chapter that we find ourselves in right now as a species. And that's why I believe in and I love the Sophia Code as a sacred text, as a mystery school, and as an international movement so much. It provides for us a seventh plane sanctuary of space, a sacred space where we return our human awareness back to the truth of our sovereign divine consciousness, which is absolutely free from this world and unlimited in resources, in how much love that you can receive, no matter whether the people that you love are around you or not. There is a communion, a God source communion that is always available to you, both with your higher self and all of your spiritual guides, the angels, the ascended masters that are featured in the Sophia Code. That sacred text is over 300 pages that are pointing directly to your own heart like an arrow. And pointing back to your source like an arrow, and reminding you again and again where all of our solutions are. And during these times, it can feel so overwhelming when there is so much. There are so many atrocities worldwide. There's so many. There's so much pain. There's so much suffering. There's so many people hurting. And interestingly enough, there are so many people in pain that don't even know they're in pain. That's what struck me when we just finished up the Sedona conference a week and a half ago, and that was what was so interesting for me when I was doing the VIP training in the Sedona conference live. I was struck by how everyone in the room was suffering from some level of trauma, if not profound trauma, whether they knew it or not. And And I think we as a society have been taught to minimize and downplay the depth of trauma that we have been subjected to individually and as a collective. And there's no way around that conversation but through it. We become empowered in our sovereign divinity and the truth and the invincible light and life, yes, of our sovereign divinity, when we understand that we are a healing prayer in motion. Like by touching down into this world, you are touching down into a world of duality. By inhabiting your human body, you inherited ancestral DNA that has records of thousands of generations of suffering on this planet. It also has, your DNA has records of thousands of years of gifts and talents that your ancestors are passing down to you as well. That's what's so interesting about this world. All of life's beauty and goodness exists side by side with all of the pain and suffering that we can create for ourselves simultaneously, including atrocities. And if you are operating from an unconsciously held trauma, it can be confusing, very, very confusing to look at this world and see both of those things side by side and be overwhelmed by it and conclude that if goodness can exist where evil exists, then somehow the blueprint of this universe is broken. And it's not broken. No matter how many broken pieces we are experiencing within our heart or within this world systems, the blueprint of this universe is not broken, because the blueprint of this universe, as declared by the Sophia Code, is a blueprint of sovereignty. Each and every one of us was made in the image and likeness of Sophia God. We read about that in chapter 1. And we go on a heroic journey, on an eternal journey. Our soul, our oversoul, begins the process of incarnating into form, into different bodies, different shapes, different species, to understand, what does that sovereignty mean? What does it mean to be wholly sovereign and divine in worlds of form, including worlds like this, where both the most breathtaking beauty and the most horrifying pain and suffering can exist in one location simultaneously. What happens in the journey in form here on this planet? Well, usually when you hit the ground running, depending on where you are in your soul's evolution, you're probably going to start your journey off in what we call spiritual infancy, where you are looking to be soothed and relieved of the pain of this world. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's a specific stage of evolution. And as you drop into an authentic spiritual journey, which is provided through every chapter of the Sophia Code, through these divine feminine Christ initiations, as you walk through all of the classes in the Stargate 1 and Stargate 2 curriculum of the mystery school, you are going on this journey to discover, oh, it's okay where I am now. There's nothing wrong with it. It's all perfect. And I really want to discover who I am on the other side of spiritual infancy. I want to walk towards a spiritual maturity where I can identify what Mother Mary talks about in chapter 10 of the Sophia Code, chapter 9 of the Sophia Code, where Mother Mary shares with me that destiny is a promise that I made to myself. That I chose to incarnate into this world of form to discover that the sovereign creator that I am knows how to discern what is best for me in every present moment. And we dove into that deep during the Sedona conference. Every part of your body is designed to speak to you constantly about what is healthy or unhealthy for you, what is going to prosper you or what is going to drain you, what's going to lift you up or what's going to drag you down. And that includes people, relationships, and why we are drawn to certain people and experiences that do drain us karmically, what is the purpose of that? We cover all of that in the Sedona conference, and we're going to be releasing the replay as soon as we're done editing all of the footage, so that for those of you who are like, wow, that sounds like an amazing course, which it was absolutely, yes, incredible. We'll have that available, and we'll let you know on our mailing list, which you can sign up for at kaiara.com as soon as that's ready for the public. So I'm really leaping from that place of of this last conversation that we had, because ultimately, if you listen to all of the recordings I've ever done from beginning to end, it's literally a conversation that I just continue the conversation from the last conversation I have. It's the only way my body knows how to stay in its communion. So it's like the conversation we're picking up here from the Prayer Collective is the next step after that Sedona conference. And, you know, the synopsis is your body is a finely attuned psychic vehicle of information. You might say, Kaia Ra, I'm not psychic. I don't know what you're talking about. And the reason why you might have that knee-jerk reaction is because we've been programmed out of the belief that we are psychic. We have been conditioned to deny our intuition. We have been even punished by our peers, by our colleagues, by our parents, by our teachers, by our spiritual religion people, to deny the things we see or hear that are right for us. And I'm here to tell you, on the very leading edge of consciousness, which is where the Sophia Code is as an international spiritual movement, we are literally at the very edge of birthing a new paradigm of Sophia Christ consciousness on this planet. I'm telling you, this is the time right now, 2020 and beyond, to claim your journey of spiritual maturity, to walk with the ascended masters and learn how to take responsibility for embodying the Holy Spirit of discernment, which exists within you. It's already within you. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to get it. It already exists within you. And that's what the Sophia Code as a sacred text is activating within you. It's bringing it into your awareness. The good news of, hey, you have a radical, omniscient divine consciousness that is the light of God that wants to flip all the switches on inside of you, beyond all of the self-sabotage, beyond all of the addictions, beyond all of the self-abandonment, beyond all of the internalized punishment, beyond all of the ways that you turn against yourself. Why? Because you were taught to do that. That's what we dove really deep into during the Sedona conference. We're just like, hey, we are no longer willing to abide by thousands of years of ancestral and collective pain body programming that is running us around and causing us to chase our tails, when our own divinely guided inspiration, our own intuition, our own ability to hear, see, and think the thoughts of our higher self is already installed within us. It's already perfectly running. In fact, when you activate the divine genome of the Sophia Code within you, within every cell of your body, which is what happens when you walk through those 8 initiations in section 2 of the Sophia Code, that is an operating system that begins to download ever increasing amounts of divine light, crystalline light from your higher self, that starts to kick out all of the viral belief systems, one at a time, sometimes many at a time. And yes, it does take time to integrate that process because it's just so powerful. One of the Ascended Master mentors featured in the Sophia Code is Ascended Master Isis, who is featured from Egypt. She is Keycode 1 of the Sophia Code, she of 1,000 names. The reason why she is she of 1,000 names is because long after Isis's lifetime in Egypt, her fame as a master of magic, as a master of beauty, as a master of priestesshood and oracular prophecy, far outlived her. Her legacy of love spanned into ancient Rome. Her names of veneration were too many to count. She had so many titles of worship because she had been called upon her soul, her spirit, as a mentor and a guide, and as a goddess in their cosmology. We don't call these masters goddesses in this cosmology. In truth, we are all gods and goddesses, but we primarily stay away from that languaging, because when people will get confused and start to separate the ascended masters and things that they are gods outside of them. And that's not the point of the Sophia Code. The point of the Sophia Code is to even the playing field. It's to reveal to your consciousness that in sovereignty, you are an equal with Isis. You are an equal with Mother Mary. Now, does that mean you are evolutionarily where your evolution is as a soul? Is it the same place as Mother Mary? I don't know. Maybe not. If it is, a lot of people are going to be coming to you for help. But the point being is, like, they are our role models for what we want to be stepping into our highest potential. Usually the more influence, the more power, the more magnetism that you're embodying to become the master, just like they are masters of helping others. Ironically, the more humble you become, because you realize just how much it means to serve at that level. It's all consuming. So lest we glamorize the word master, let us remember that the words ascended master means those who are of service to billions of souls simultaneously. That's how much they are loving and serving day and night. And so as we take in our evolution into spiritual maturity, I would like for us to welcome Ascended Master Isis, who gave everything to her people out of the divine love that she had for her role as a leader, as a spiritual leader of her times, who had the opportunity to guide an entire population into a golden age ascension state of consciousness, and to help them maintain that consciousness for an extended amount of time, which is a true miracle, given how consciousness is like herding cats most of the time. And Isis likes that because she loves cats. So I would like to have us call in our Divine Feminine Christ Circle of Empowerment. And I'd like for us to dive deeper into this passage that was being read before our call started from Isis's chapter in the Sophia Code, chapter 6, because what Isis is pointing to in this passage that we're going to read on page 63 and page 64, if you want to get your copy of the Sophia Code ready, we're going to read it out loud together after we do our invocation. She's pointing us to the inner process, the inner shamanic death and resurrection that happen repeatedly when we are moving from spiritual infancy into spiritual maturity. And Isis really wanted to come forward at this time because there's so much that you, as a light worker on the leading edge of consciousness, are navigating right now. You're navigating that most of the collective field of humanity is in unbelievable amounts of pain, frustration, and denial of itself, repression of itself. Not to mention the levels of violence that have been increasing all over the world over this past year. And then simultaneously, you're carrying a whole world of information in your DNA and in your soul's purpose for being here. So there is a hyper acceleration at this time of looking at karmic contracts that you have been carrying for many centuries of incarnations that want to be buttoned up and put a bow on it and be completed in this lifetime. And what's interesting about 2020 is it's marking a new decade. There's a lot of energy that wants to be cleared up, untangled, resolved from the past 10 years of your life right here in this moment. So I invite you to, let's take a deep breath in together and a big exhale out. And I invite you to, through the third eye center and through your heart, simultaneously Go back to where you were 10 years ago. I remember where I was 10 years ago. I was standing on Mount Shasta in the snow up to my knees, saying a prayer for the Sophia Code. It's a long time ago. Where were you? Find that moment, the first memory that comes into your reality. "10 years ago, have some beautiful compassion for that much younger version of yourself. How much he or they were going through at that time. Maybe it brings some perspective to where you stand now. Maybe you see yourself 10 years ago and you can identify how precious you are. How the confusion or the prayers or hopes or desires that you were experiencing then have launched 1,000 ships to where you stand now. Now I want you to notice the relationships that were most painful for you at that time in your life. Or you might even speed up to 5 years from then and see additional relationships or new relationships that were coming that you were getting ready to receive 10 years ago, maybe 5 years forward on that. It's like you can like scrub back and forth on that timeline, back and forth. Notice if there are specific themes about these people, specific patterns or situations or circumstances. And notice if any of them are coming up right now, literally this summer in 2020. It might be different phases, it might be a variation of the circumstance, and it might be far less painful or extreme than it was back then. But notice any similarities. Just notice, just be curious. And let's just take a deep breath in and exhale. And the reason why we can exhale in the Sophia Code, the Sophia Dragon tribe say that your exhale is the delight of Sophia. And why? It's because our exhale is a signal to our body, like, oh, it's time to relax. It's safe enough to relax. I don't have to be in control of everything. I can actually trust and relax in this moment. And that's the clear space that I'd like for us to approach tonight's quantum healing empowerments from. I would like to approach that lucid healing space from the identification that your awareness wants to time loop back to the original wounds of your consciousness until you finally look at them, heal them, resolve them. You may even have to face them in a different configuration, even if you're like, well, I've done that healing, but then another one comes up from a different variation. You're like, why is this still happening? It's like, it's really integrating it from every angle of healing and wholeness and empowerment. Every experience of imbalance, when you bring it back into balance, where new boundaries are defined, new clarity is defined, new self-worth is defined, a new bar of what is worthy of your reality or not allowed. Every time you experience that up-leveling, it integrates into your being on all 4 levels of your being, even further lifetimes of the opposite. Lifetimes of when this time loop of a wound could upend you, uproot you, knock you off center. So, for example, for myself personally, there's a very specific type of personality disorder that I have experienced in others coming towards me. and trying to uproot me or minimize me or abuse me in very strange and unlikely ways. And it is the wounding of my childhood that remanifests that, just to make sure I'm learning yet another angle of how I will not be taken advantage of by sociopathic behavior. Does it mean I didn't learn my other lessons? Absolutely not. It just means I'm getting stronger and clearer and wiser and even more discerning at every single perspective of how that energy could harm me or my loved ones or this world. Here's the thing, no matter what you're facing with other people or circumstances that are disturbing to you, you are becoming a stronger, clearer vessel of discernment, not just for yourself, but for most of humanity that doesn't know how to actually think for itself. Now, for those of you who know how to think your own thoughts, that is a shocking statement to take in. I know. The first time I heard that my mentor say to me, 98% of humanity doesn't actually think for itself. It is living off programmed belief systems that have been installed into them since birth. I was just silent for like a minute. I couldn't even process it for about 30 seconds. The thought of people not thinking their own thoughts, even if they were thoughts I didn't agree with, just blew my mind. But it's absolutely true. Most of humanity is dead asleep. And so it's really important to understand that your personal healing journey is on behalf of so many souls that can't even think their way out of a paper bag. They're completely lost in the nightmare of their pain and their illusion. You see it when you go to the grocery store. And like, I remember walking down a grocery store with my mask on an aisle, very respectfully keeping my 6 feet of distance or whatever all the things you're supposed to be doing. And this lady was literally gripping the sides of the grocery aisle, like literally the metal shelves, like a cat trying to climb up a wall. Like, that's how deep she was in fear about COVID. I just felt so much compassion for her, because I was like, oh my God, I can't even imagine how much fear she's living in every moment of her life to be behaving like that in public. You have to understand that's whether people are acting that way, acting it out or not, somatically revealing it through their body language, how much in fear they're living every day. Most people are living in that much fear, climbing up the walls of their own fears day in and day out. So you having the courage to step inside your own body, to step inside your own heart, to resource the ascended masters, to open your heart and your mouth and your voice and your throat up in prayer, to call upon your help and to call upon the truth of reality, which is divine love, which is sovereignty, which is the ability to see beyond the fear and the anxiety and to call in the peace that passeth all understanding, to call in the spirit of discernment, which cuts like a sword through our fears and anxieties and restores us to a clear and present faith that is an invincible light. It is an invincible light, and it is also God's country for people that live in this world, but not of this world. And that is you, as Jesus taught us to be in this world, but not of this world. What he was saying is maintain that Sophia Christ consciousness, and you can be an emissary of that consciousness without being taken out by the fear-mongering, the anxiety, and the terror of this world. This is an exceptional training ground for consciousness. What are you going to focus on? What are you going to believe in? What are you going to take refuge in? The truth of your invincible light, or the wild viral programming that's seeking to debilitate people from the inside out? Let's begin our invocation so that we can step into a space of healing and grace that's going to be directed by the sacred text of the Sophia Code, this passage from Ascended Master Isis on page 63. I'm really excited to dive into this with you. Thanks so much for going there with me and thinking some thoughts together. All right, let's think a new thought about our beautiful psychic field of protection that we can call upon every day, our divine feminine Christ circle of empowerment. So for those of you who are new to the Sophia Code, or if this is your first time in the call, what we're going to do is we're going to invoke the Ascended Masters to create a circle of protection and guiding light around you. And it's not so that you can be filled up with the spirit or energy of these masters. It's so that you can create a clear enough space to feel the full presence of yourself. Like a lot of people in spiritual, when they're new spiritual seekers, they're looking to feel anything other than themselves. But as you spiritually mature, you understand that your work with the Ascended Masters or guardian angels or star nations, it's all to reveal the Christ within you. It's all to finally identify that you've been looking for what was inside of you the whole time, which is the truth of your sovereign divinity, your equal sovereign divinity with every other person that exists on this planet and in this cosmos. It's really good news, and it's shouted from every page in the Sophia Code. So we're going to begin with visualizing a beautiful circle of white light around you. You could visualize it about 3 or 4 feet outside your body. And it's got this beautiful pearlescent, iridescent sheen to it. Now, there are 8 directions on this wheel of light, and you could consider them like 8 pillars of strength around you. And in the north, you can visualize the north in front of you, or you can visualize the north behind you. In the north, we're going to welcome beautiful white buffalo woman who's Keycode 7 of the Sophia Code. She of 1,000 white clouds and thunder beings. Behind her, there's a supporting entourage of angelic beings, the first of which is the white buffalo star nation, Sirian star nation. That is her angelic order. Behind them arrives the order of sky grandmothers, who you can read about in the Sophia Code in chapter 12. Now in the northeast, we're going to welcome beautiful winged Isis, Keycode 1 of the Sophia Code, she of 1,000 names. And behind her arrives a divine masculine ascended master named Saint Germain of the Violet Flame. They both work with the Violet Flame in a very powerful way together, and we'll be learning more about Saint Germain in future volumes of the Sophia Code. In the east, we're going to welcome the radiant, stunning Hathor, Keycode 2 of the Sophia Code, she of 1,000 voices. And behind her is her angelic order, the Hathor Star Nation, Sirian Star Nation, and they arrive as this Ophimine order of angels, singing as holy tongues and flames within wheels of light. We're also going to welcome a protector that is associated with Hathor in ancient Egypt, and that is beautiful Sekhmet, who is a lioness-headed goddess deity, protector deity from ancient Egypt. And we're going to start invoking her in the east more often now. It's just that time to start bringing Sekhmet in more often under the auspices of Hathor. And in the southeast, we're going to welcome that in that beautiful direction of abundance and prosperity and growth and life, the wonderful, radiant Keycode 3 of the Sophia Code, Green Tara, she of 1,000 stars. Green Tara comes to us from Tibetan Buddhism, but as revealed in the Sophia Code, she also incarnated in other incarnations on this planet, but most of her incarnations happened in the Sirius star system, which you can read about in chapter 8 of the Sophia Code. Behind Green Tara arrives the beautiful order of Dakinis. In the south, I'd like to welcome beautiful Mother Mary, who's Keycode 4 of the Sophia Code, she of 1,000 roses. Mother Mary arrives with open arms and great joy to be here with you. And you may feel thousands of rose petals descending over you and over this virtual space that we have created together as a prayer collective. I'm also witnessing that beautiful sapphire blue flame rising up from Mother Mary's heart. She's going to be blessing us with a sapphire blue flame throughout today's transmission. We do have an activation series based on a series of heart flame activations that you can check out on my website. Okay, in the southwest, we have Mary Magdalene arriving with the entire Order of Magdalena behind her. Mary Magdalene is Keycode 5. She of 1,000 angels, and she's arriving in the southwest along with Ascended Master Jesus standing behind her as her divine masculine counterpart. And I'm also giving thanks for St. Joan of Arc arriving in the southwest as one of the Order of Magdalena revealed in chapter 10 of the Sophia Code. And I'd also like to give thanks and celebrate that the Sophia Code is now published in French. It's just been released. So just giving thanks to the Order of Magdalena for making sure that that happened in such a good way in 2020. In the West, I honor and welcome beautiful, radiant Kuan Yin, Keycode 6 of the Sophia Code. She of 1,000 waters. Kuan Yin is arriving with such a great power and presence of Sophia Christ consciousness radiating out from her third eye, her heart, her hands. You may begin to feel her healing waters baptizing your consciousness, flowing through the very core of your being at this time. Behind her arrives the one and only Divine Masculine Ascended Master, Holy, Holy Mahavatar Babaji, who we greet with our greatest respect and reverence for his position as the Master of Light who initiates all Ascended Masters on this planet. Every single one, male or female, they all meet with Babaji before they ascend. And that is a great honor that we can invoke him and that he is here with us. It's a really big deal. His story with Kuan Yin in chapter 11 of the Sophia Code is cinematic. It's absolutely profound. So if you haven't read chapter 11 yet of the Sophia Code, get ready. It's a very, very special journey you're going to go on with Kuan Yin. In the Northwest, we welcome the beautiful Sophia dragons, the holiest seraphim of the Divine Mother's Sacred Heart, Keycode 777, she who births sovereign creators. Feeling their mighty presence, flying in at this time, anchoring at that northwestern gate. Now, there are some very fabulous friends in high places that are surrounding you in all of this glory and all of this light, all of this resonance of sovereignty. And that's why we invoke the Ascended Masters, is to surround you in their grace so that you can clear the space within you and all around you to feel the power of your own higher self filling you. Now, if you are currently in a moment, maybe you're having an experience where you're feeling a lot of intensity around relationships that are changing or energies that are shifting in your life, you may have felt a lot of heaviness over this past week or past couple of weeks as that Lionsgate energy has been just clearing you out of what no longer serves your greatest empowerment and your greatest creativity and your greatest happiness. And so I'm welcoming all of these Ascended Masters, including the thousands of Ascended Masters that exist as Keycode 333, she who speaks as one council, the entire Sophia Dragon Tribe, to surround you in the grace and the blessings and the healing light of countless Ascended Masters, including the archangels that have arrived to support your healing empowerment today as well, including Archangel Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, Metatron, and Sandalphon, Jophiel, Ariel, Shamuel, Zadkiel, Gideon, and Machuel, just to name a few. We also have archangels that are attending the Sophia Dragon Tribe from Sirius, from the Pleiades, from Andromeda. Allow yourself to be surrounded by their wings, to feel how your family of light extends beyond this world, far beyond this world. That the Sophia Dragon Tribe includes representatives, masters of sovereignty from every realm of creation. This is an intergalactic ministry for reclaiming the Christhood of all species and all beings across this cosmos, not just planet Earth. We are very busy elsewhere as well. So the more that you wake up inside of the work of this codex, the more time you spend in the mystery still curriculums, the more you allow these healings from the prayer collective to integrate within your life, the more that you as you wear the jewelry, everything that's connected to this living transmission, Your consciousness is awaking into a spiritual maturity that can identify that you came here as an angel in human form. You descended here on earth with a very special divine purpose to work with masters of light, to work with the archangels, to help elevate and transform the consciousness of this planet. There are millions of souls that are bonded to their suffering, enslaved by very, very, very dark agendas of this world every day of their life. Too many murders to count. You are the light that came into this darkness, and you are not alone. You are surrounded by the grace of countless, thousands upon thousands of eyes, hands, wings, hearts that all care about what you are experiencing and what everyone is experiencing here, just as much as you do, probably even more, beyond your understanding. Some of these souls, as ascended masters, have been working for thousands of years for the evolution of humanity. That's commitment. That's doing something, not for the thank you, because there's not a lot of thank yous over thousands of years. There's a lot of please help me. So just feeling the privilege, the power, the honor of what you are surrounded by right now, the support, the gratitude, and the call to action. So we welcome the full presence of your Holy Spirit, higher self. We ask for your higher self to open up your eighth chakra so that you can somatically feel, to begin to feel a download of Christ's light, of this beautiful waterfall of your own soul's light. Your higher self descending as a waterfall of light over your head, down the back of your head, down the front of your forehead, flowing down your cheekbones, across your face, down your lips. You start to feel that beautiful light water flowing over your throat, pouring down the back of your shoulders. For those of you who have activated your angel wings, you might feel your angel wings start to flap like a bird bath, receiving all of this water and light from your higher self, shaking off the heaviness of the past few weeks, letting yourself deeply drink and receive from the grace of this living transmission, which is literally merging all dimensional realities into one unified source field of consciousness, so that you can more accurately, deeply, and lucidly feel the presence of your higher self within every cell of your body right here and right now. And allow that beautiful waterfall of light to fill your heart, to fill every cell of your lungs, to radiate through the back of your spine and all of your vertebrae, filling up the front back of your solar plexus, running up the feathers of your wings, flowing down into your sacral chakra, opening up your lower back to more support, more lightness. You may begin to feel any toxic cords or attachments to others just popping right out of your body. You're just like, okay, we're done. We're so done with that behavior and that outcome. I'm done with the time loop. Just feeling that water light of your own higher self, filling your root chakra, opening your root chakra to receive greater levels of support, resources, a deeper connection with your Mother Earth, who is a profound amount of information always flowing into your body, and that light presence of your higher self, those waters of your higher self flowing all the way down your legs, through your feet chakra, and deeply connecting you to your seat, to the floor, and all the way down to the very heart of Mother Earth. For those of you who've activated your Golden Dragon Light Body technology, which for those of you who are new to our container, you can find that in chapter 13 of the Sophia Code. We welcome the Sophia Dragons to bless your Golden Dragon Light Body. You may begin to feel your scales rippling with that new moisture of the waterfall of your higher self's Christ light. Just breathing in, drinking in that light through your Golden Dragon scales. You may feel your eyes and your ears being washed out by the light of your higher self. This is the power of your invincible divinity. It can literally purify every physical organ as well as every metaphysical organ, all of your etheric organs, your chakras, your meridians, your kundalini channels, your angel wings. And let's just take 3 deep breaths into the center of your circle. And as you do, I invite you to expand your higher self all the way out to the edges of that circle. With every breath in, you're going to just breathe in that beautiful light water of your higher self. With every exhale, releasing the heaviness and giving it back to Sophia God, giving it back to the Holy Spirit, back to the Great Spirit, whatever you call God consciousness, let the heaviness go back to your source, who knows how to clear the heaviness out of your body, heart, and mind. If you've been wrestling with how to resolve a certain situation, how to let go of a certain outcome, just breathe in and let it go through the breath out. And for those of you who are familiar with the prayer of the Divine Feminine Christ, I'd like for us to say it together as we open up to this healing transmission with Ascended Master Isis. We're going to say this prayer 3 times together. Divine Mother of all life, take me to that place deep within your womb where I can know nothing and be reborn anew. Divine Mother of all life, take me to that place deep within your womb where I can know nothing and be reborn anew. Divine Mother of all life, take me to that place deep within your womb where I can know nothing and be reborn anew. Allowing that prayer, which is encoded to instantaneously transport your human awareness into the 7th plane, that Sophia source womb space from which even the light arises. We now travel in our consciousness directly to that holy sanctuary of Sophia's womb, the perfect black nothingness where the only thing that actually exists is this omniscient, unconditional, divinely loving presence that is always listening for you. There is absolutely no form there, not even light. It's a presence. It's a stillness. And it has never moved. It's always been in the exact same place, both within you and in the cosmos. And you may begin to feel a transmission of that stillness coming over your heart chakra right now. A peace that passeth all understanding. Now, the ineffable mystery of the universe and the very core of all divine feminine teachings is that from the nothing comes everything. From the black womb of no thing, nothing exists there, actually arises the immaculate conception of light. And as we know, all form is based off of off of the foundational building blocks of life. The waves and particles of light magnetize to it and create all that it needs for life to exist, for the holographic perception of us to engage with learning experiences on planets where we get to experience what it's like to have a classroom in form. It comes out of the nothing. And so we too can direct in our imagination a classroom experience, a healing environment that we need And then Isis has guided me to invite us to visualize together. And so feeling that presence, that stillness, that beautiful black womb of nothing that is loving you without condition, without needing you to perform or do anything for it. It is the nothing, and it is simply here to embrace you in all of your totality. I welcome Ascended Master Isis to step forward, and as she does, she lifts her wings high, and from her wings starts to arise a beautiful healing pyramid of light. At the top of that pyramid is a radiant star. It's a star that begins to pierce all of the belief systems of your that may be stored in your third eye, that it's not safe to see clearly. And this star is reminding you that your third eye is a star of Christ consciousness within you. And just taking a quantum leap and considering that idea begins to burn away earthly programmed belief systems that somehow what you see makes you wrong or bad. What a blessing to see the star of life within you. And Isis is inviting you to come into this pyramid of light that's lit up by this star at the very peak of the pyramid. And as you come in, you'll notice the first step into the pyramid that there's a body of water here within the pyramid. It's this beautiful turquoise color. And Isis is inviting you. There's two priestesses that are waiting at the water's edge, and she's inviting you to take their hands and to go into the waters where they're going to help you purify your consciousness on all four levels of your being. You might want to go, allow them to, you might feel like you need to go underwater for a moment, and maybe you need to swim in these waters underwater. Maybe you just need to float on the surface of the waters. Whatever you need, you can direct these priestesses to help guide you in feeling emotionally safe to let go within this water. If you have trauma around bodies of water, this would be a very safe way for you to receive the healing energies of Isis, helping your consciousness soften and relax into why there is an unknown fear of water. Water has this amazing way of emotionally cleansing us on every level of our being, because number one, our bodies are mostly made up of water, but number two, so is our auric field. Did you know that water has an aura or energy as well? It has an energetic blueprint before it becomes physical. And so even your auric fields, even the energy light bodies around you are made up of the energy of water as well. So when you come into contact with the consciousness of water, it's just an invitation to let go. Water is always flowing towards you to help you release what no longer is working in your life, sometimes in very dramatic ways. And so this spirit of water is embracing you on every cell of your body. And let's just allow yourself to float here in silence for several seconds. And Isis is sharing, if there's something in particular, a pattern or a time loop of pain that you're ready to integrate in a whole new level of discernment. Where it's like, okay, I don't need to learn through pain anymore, through this time loop of a wound, because I've been inside this wound. I see it clearly, and I'm ready to start learning through divine love now. Feel the waters lapping away at those parts of your heart or any other area of your body That's releasing the need to continue to time loop in that wound or that quantum entanglement with others or with yourself, with physical reality. We continue to create what is unresolved within us. The universe doesn't have a problem with that. The universe says, you're sovereign, you're holy, and you're divine. Clearly, you're not done learning that way. No problem. Here's more. Or are you sure? Are you sure? Here's another situation. Is your no still a no? Is your yes still a yes? Are you sure? That's what's happening right now. There's a sharpening of our sword of discernment. There is a lucidity that is calling us forward, not just for the happiness and sake of our own lives, but for the future, for the liberation of all beings. There are so many beings that are going to benefit from the lucidity of your perspective and of your life. Isis has now walked around to the other side of the pool, and she's holding up a golden ankh of life. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the symbol ankh, the Egyptian ankh, that word is spelled A-N-K-H, and it's one of the most powerful symbols to protect your life at this time, and it's why we have engraved it into almost every single piece in the Sophia Code collection, jewelry collection. So that beautiful symbol, she's imprinting it upon the water, and as she does, the water is being filled with this golden light. And the water raises up and lifts you up to the edge of the pool so that you are now standing before Isis. And as you are lifted up, you realize that you are now wearing a ritual garment. But whatever you entered the pool in has now changed, and you realize you are now in ceremony. And Isis walks you to the center of the pyramid, and you realize that the far wall of the pyramid is actually like a clear glass. And you look out and you realize you're peering into the dimensional reality that is your life back on earth. You see a blue sky, you see the scene of where you live, but you're in that pyramid in the womb of no thing, just watching your life like a movie. And from that space, I'm going to read this passage from the Sophia Code that starts on page 63. The section that starts with, claim your sovereign divinity. I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs, and you're welcome to read along out loud with me or to stay in this meditative state as you receive these words of Isis speaking to you from the center of this pyramid, as you view the dimensional reality that you are existing in, that you are incarnating back on earth as in your heroic human journey. And Isis points to the sky, and she lifts her wings, and she says to you, starting on page 63, let's fly together as you awaken the vast illuminating life force within your precious human body. As the wings upon my back spread wide to soar with your own, the divine feminine strength and power that I embody is yours to know within yourself. My Keycode 1 is a teaching transmission for confidently claiming the freedom of your sovereign divinity. Just as I put Osiris's body back together piece by piece through the rites of resurrection, so too will I initiate your consciousness to recognize the divinity and royalty within your own body, heart, and mind. I offer you the light mantles of my oversoul to be wrapped as sacred ritual cloths around your awareness, so that any hidden belief denying your divinity may dissolve in peace. It is safe to receive my initiations, rebirthing your self-confidence. In these rites, I honor your courage with anointing oils and bless you with the ceremonial grounds of stardust, dragon pearls, and lapis. I am always here for you, available within the inner pyramids that you can enter through meditation and prayer. Within these inner sanctuaries, I facilitate healing ceremonies for your awareness to receive the higher self initiations that knit together places within you that do not feel whole. My loving presence activates you to claim your innate wholeness and bravely ascend the throne of your own I am presence. Uplifted in my wings, your divinity is witnessed, proclaimed, and honored. I want to go back to this paragraph where it says, I offer you the light mantles of my oversoul to be wrapped as sacred ritual cloths around your awareness so that any hidden belief denying your divinity may dissolve in peace. Did you know that the hidden beliefs that deny your divinity are the root source of addictions, codependent behavior that can destroy your life? The manifestations that appear to be surprises but are actually sabotages that your unconsciously held belief systems denying your divinity can create in this world. As Jesus taught in the Bible, that is when a house is divided against itself. And in the presence of Isis, we can heal these kind of wounds. And so I invite you to walk with Isis and to sit upon that throne of your own I am presence here at the center of this pyramid, to relax into it, to merge with that throne. Maybe it feels like white marble, maybe it's alabaster, maybe it's crystalline, maybe it's covered in some special fabric that feels like the very fabric of your soul. I invite you to sit upon that throne and to just practice breathing into that throne as you view your life on earth through the window of that pyramid. This is the perspective of your higher self, witnessing your life on earth and the perfection of all of your learning experiences, the perfection of all of the ways that pain has led you to wisdom and discernment and greater love and more abundance and more personal empowerment. And Isis is lifting her wings up high, and there's these beautiful veils of light begin to descend over the throne that you are sitting upon. These veils of light are Isis's consciousness. It's her oversoul that is temporarily, for a moment, merging with your higher self to download into you a divine intervention, healing of grace, to adjust and attune your consciousness to a higher level of thinking about yourself, to a higher level of personal expectation, of how you're ready to treat yourself and others with greater respect, which will allow for you to magnetize into your life relationships that are far more respectful and loving towards you. To feel how your divinity is the reason why you deserve everything that you could ever want or need in this lifetime. And from this space, within the very sacred womb of the Holy Mother, in the presence of Isis's oversoul, her light mantles literally wrapping your consciousness in sacred cloths of healing. This is how they did funerary rites or rebirthing rites in the rites of sepulcher. Well, they would wrap you in these cloths that were, richly filled with 100% pure oils. Not essential oils, like pure, like thousands of lotus flowers distilled into a single bottle of pure oil. Like that is what Isis's consciousness is wrapping around your awareness. I've smelled that level of an oil. It literally rearranges your entire reality. I am transmitting that smell to you right now. Thousands of lotus flowers actually smell like God. It actually smells like God. It is pure heaven. It is the remembrance of who you really are. And there's a crystallization that wants to happen within your pituitary gland, within your third eye, within every brain cell. It's interesting. There's a brain activation happening within this I am presence throne as your light bodies are temporarily, momentarily merging with Isis's light bodies to receive her healing of grace, her attunements of your sovereign divinity. You may begin to feel entanglements being unwound from your first chakra, your sacral chakra, your third chakra, literally unknotted and unwound, and then like falling right off of the throne and into the womb of no thing to dissolve into nothing. From where you sit on your throne of sovereignty, how can you communicate to yourself in that movie screen in front of you, in that viewing screen of the pyramid? Send a message to yourself 10 years ago that in 10 years from now, you will be sitting in a pyramid with Isis, claiming the next level of your sovereign divinity. Send that message to you 10 years ago in the movie screen. Share with her or him or they how much you are holding them in your own angel wings and how much Isis is holding you as you hold you. And feel that consciousness of your own invincible light being resurrected and accelerated within every cell of your body, heart, and mind within this inner pyramid. There's such a profound accelerated clearing happening while you simultaneously bless yourself 10 years ago. And why is that? I'll tell you why. Right now, the pyramid is about to spin, literally in a complete circle. And as it does, the view out the window of that pyramid, out that wall, that glass wall, changes to where you are now, to a moment right now of pain or clearing or transformation 10 years later that's connected to who you were then. And look at that moment, some moment from the past 3 months, and send that same clarity and lucidity and blessing to yourself. And witness the connection. We call upon Isis to help you have eyes to see and ears to hear the pattern that wants to end in 2020, right here and right now, as you listen to this recording. What is it that you no longer need to teach you about the truth of your sovereign divinity through pain? Who is it or what is it? It could be one word, it could be many. And now you're going to feel Isis's hands coming over your eyes. And as she does, I'm witnessing Ascended Master Jesus bringing his hands as well, along with Isis's along with Isis's hands over your eyes. And there's these two balls of light filling your eye sockets, lighting up literally your skull. Your skull looks like a crystal skull right now. And that those two balls of light moving from Isis's hands and Jesus' hands into your eyes are literally reprogramming your eyes to see yourself through as a sovereign creator, to forgive yourself as a sovereign creator, to celebrate yourself as a sovereign creator, and to support yourself as a sovereign creator in the days and weeks and months and years to come. That you do have the power within you to end the decades old story of both growth and empowerment and pain, and to step into a new decade of new learning experiences through divine love, through grace, through greater ease and self-acceptance and worthiness, and feeling that very powerful Christ light moving from your eyes into your third eye center, third eye chakra temple. And it's creating this equilateral cross at the pituitary gland going out your ears, and also activating your ear chakras, activating your crown chakra all the way up to your eighth chakra, and that cross of light descending down your throat. You may feel some holy fire cleansing and clearing while also activating and integrating Sophia Christ consciousness within all of your centers, higher centers. This is a spirit of discernment. And you may begin to feel that light pouring down the medulla oblongata, running down your spinal column, all the way activating all of your major chakras and anchoring at your root chakra, which may feel safer to spiral open in this pyramid of light and within your body, because you understand that through the eyes of discernment, you can begin to magnetize in better and better ways what is more supportive for you in this world. More healthy, more healing, more reflected of the majesty of your sovereign divinity. And that's going to make a significant impact on yourself, on your loved ones, on your community, on your coworkers and clients, on the world. How you treat yourself up levels the entire world, because the world has to meet you there. I'm going to say that again. How you treat yourself up levels the entire world, because the world has to meet you there. Boom. There it is. Allowing that wisdom to just open up your angel wings and match the height of Isis's angel wings. Your wings, Isis's wings, lift all the way up to that star that's shining at the top of the pyramid, and that star begins to then to descend down the column of light all the way through your eighth chakra, descends down through your crown, through your third eye, through your throat, your heart, and it anchors at the very center of your heart. And you're going to start to feel it spinning wider and wider and wider within you. And your whole body becomes a blazing sun of light within the one black womb of no thing, where guess what happens? You get reborn into the knowingness of your sovereign divinity by knowing nothing about it. Going back to the source where you don't have to control it. You don't have to sort it out. You don't have to keep your facts straight. You don't have to control anyone or be controlled by anyone. You can just go directly back to the source and always receive the same remembrance of who you really are. Sovereign, holy, divine. And with that said, I'm going to close with this reading from Isis's initiation. So I would like for you to visualize, I'm going to be reading from page 88, the number of perfect abundance. And it's for personal abundance, and then the perfect number for abundance for the collective, which is what you step into when you're a leader, is 888, because it means that you are receiving greater abundance for the abundance of the whole. So starting on page 88, you are welcome to read this aloud or stay in a meditative state of consciousness with Ascended Master Isis, player's choice. And I highly suggest either listening to the Keycode 1 Isis initiation this evening or sometime this week as you're falling asleep, or you could listen to it consciously, even better. If you've never read the Isis initiation, again, it's located in chapter 6 of the Sophia Code. It's extremely powerful, and it is designed to trigger and activate every last unconsciously held belief system or vow that is keeping you from you, the truth of who you really are. And so in honor of how much that you have reclaimed this evening through Isis's living transmission in her pyramid of light, I would like for you to visualize Isis now standing before you with so much love and respect for your journey and for who you are as a warrior of light and of love in this world. And imagine her speaking these words to you, and imagine you speaking them with her from your throne of the I Am presence. Starting on page 88. As I am the tree of life, I honor the Sophia of Hesed, the mercy and glory breathing within me. I am the holiness of mercy in human form. Within me, this pure force of mercy overcomes all inner and outer obstacles to unconditionally love my divinity. Within me, this pure force of mercy keeps my feet upon the path of righteousness. By the power of mercy within me, I now reconcile all my lifetimes for the glory of Sophia within me. I now welcome and integrate every aspect of myself, both the light and the dark within me, into the glory of my unified self. I am the embodied glory of a whole human being, creating in a world of form. Within me, this pure force of glory sanctifies my every action. Within me, this pure force of glory acts as a divine, loving, and generous ally to the earth. I now dedicate all my actions for the glory of Sophia within me and Sophia within all beings. I now align with the sacred waters of unstoppable success flowing within me. I allow the glorious illumination of the Holy Spirit within me to radically shift my self-perception in every present moment. I affirm this truth independent of any passing understanding. I am the mercy of Sophia, guiding me to the glory of my brilliant human potential. I am that. The word of Isis as given to us in the Sophia Code on pages 88 and 89. Isis's initiation, the second half, if you read this over and over again, for the rest of the year, you would be standing in an entirely different place in 2021. This remembrance of who you are. It's like people come to me and they ask me, well, how do I do this? How do I be psychic? And how do I change my life and get all this abundance? It's just like, it's here. You read these words will literally change your consciousness. You don't have to know the how. All you got to know is the why. If you believe in your worthiness at this level, all of the steps will be revealed to you, including the willingness within you to follow through on those steps. No matter how many hard feelings there are within you or obstacles within you that would keep you from you. The more you believe in your sovereign divinity, the more you will relentlessly pursue the worthiness of your divine inheritance in every aspect of your life. You'll never give up and you'll never give in. And your life will continue to get better and better and better incrementally. The ego structure has a mechanism that wants to sabotage your success every step of the way. And this is why having a firm foundation and an absolute confidence in the truth of your sovereign divinity is essential for navigating the wily ways that the ego structure unconsciously tries to tear us down. You have the invincible, sovereign divine light within you that can pierce through every illusion of the ego structure and the agendas of this world. And the Sophia Code is a sacred text that declares that to you over and over again. And when you read it out loud, you are empowering yourself on every level of your being to finally accept that truth and to live it in every aspect of your life. It doesn't all happen at once, but it does happen with time. And that's why we created the mystery school, and it's why we've created so many resources of support on this platform. In closing of this sacred ceremony, we welcome Isis to walk with you in your consciousness back into the fullness of your connection to your human body. I invite you to witness this inner pyramid now being minimized within your consciousness all the way down to fit inside your human heart. In truth, you exist in that womb space and you exist in your body simultaneously, but we want to bring you back into a very grounded and clear connection to your human body. And so, as directed by your higher self, I welcome Ascended Master Isis now, closing that ceremonial healing space while sealing every transmission that you have received from her in the light and fire of your own Holy Spirit on all four levels of your being now and forevermore, within your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, and all of your spiritual causal bodies that exist in every dimensional reality. And together as a community, we now offer and give thanks, saying, it is done, it is done, it is done. By the power of three, a perfect Trinity, it is done. And so it is. You may feel Ascended Master Isis's wings wrapping around the back of your heart and around your arms. Just know that she's going to continue to be very much with you, very present with you over the next 24 hours as you continue to get to learn more about her as a mentor. She's this close to you, body, heart, and mind, assisting your awareness in how to allow that integration of up-leveling how you perceive yourself and the learning experiences that you are having, that there's nothing actually against you here. Everything is for you. Everything is inviting you into your greatest empowerment. It may be uncomfortable, but that is the invitation. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in live tonight. I want to thank everyone on the replay. Real quick announcement. We are beginning our next round of Sophia Circle Leadership Training that started this Wednesday. We have so many people joining us. This movement is growing so fast. We have so many people coming to us asking about Sophia Circle journeys. There couldn't be a better time to explore the certification training program and how it could be a big part of your divine purpose, making right livelihood with a ministry that involves the Sophia Code that is brand approved. And it's one of the most powerful leadership training programs you're going to experience. I've had outside consultants take a look at this program, and they're just dumbfounded by how much is offered there. And we're happy to get on the phone with you and answer all of your questions about what it's like to lead Sophia Circle journeys, what's involved, what the benefits are, what it's like to be a part of a community of leaders. Our first live class starts this Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So feel free to reach out at contact@kaiara.com if you'd like to set up a Team Angel call. It's free, and we're happy to walk you through all the steps, including getting you on an empowerment payment plan if you know this is what's your next step in your divine purpose. I couldn't be more excited about it. This blueprint of the Sophia Circle Journeys came directly from the Ascended Masters, and it involves the opportunity to run these circles virtually as well, which, you know, a year ago when I was channeling it, I didn't know how important that was going to be during COVID. So I give thanks. This is an extraordinary moment for us, and we hope that you can join us live if this is what's right for you. And for those of you that are looking forward to our next prayer circle, you can join us live again for this free ministerial offering on the third Sunday of September. All my love to you always. Feel free to join us in the forum for the post-ceremony discussion. Have a wonderful and blessed rest of your August, friends. Namaste.